Welcome you who are joining us as part of our virtual community to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, located here on the beautiful central coast of California. It is a beautiful day, and I am so glad that you have chosen to join us among all of the other options that are available. We are very grateful. We are concluding our September theme this morning, Living Everyday Wonder, Work. And the topic is Failing Forward. And I have to introduce a little disclaimer. Sometimes my eyes play tricks on me. I don't know about any of you, but my eyes do play some tricks on me. And so when I was reading the topics for the month, the topic clearly is failing forward. However, as I was preparing some other elements of this, my eyes read it as falling forward. So we get a blend of failing forward and falling forward. And as I was exploring this, I really did realize that there is very similar and likewise meanings in both of those terms. Today, September 25th through Tuesday, September 27th, we join in consciousness with our brothers and sisters of the Jewish faith as they begin the celebration of Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year and the beginning of the Jewish High Holy Days. It is a time for reflection, prayer, special foods, and other traditions of the faith. And this really resonated with me this morning when I read that it was the beginning of the High Holy Days within the Jewish tradition. And it's also somewhat symbolic of the kickoff of the holiday season for those of us who are here in the West and celebrate those holidays. We may not often think of Thanksgiving as of Halloween as a Thanksgiving. I've noticed that it's becoming more and more overlooked in the commercial area because with the merchandising, they've skipped Halloween and gone straight to Christmas. The decorations are up in the stores, and it's just confusing my mind because I'm accustomed to a logical, okay, we have Labor Day, celebrating the end of summer. Then we have Halloween, which really is the kickoff in my mind for fall. And then we have Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas and New Year, and then we start all over again. Well, it'll still work that way. For some people, there's a belief that experiences and circumstances where failure is a given. However, when a person chooses to do the experience of failure is called resistance. What a person chooses to do with the experience of failure is called resilience, not resistance. I'll say that again. Some people believe that in many circumstances, failure is a given. However, what a person chooses to do with the experience of failure is called resilience, or bouncing back, or falling forward through those experiences of failure. We, as people of New Thought tradition and New Thought teachings, can choose to have a different outcome. In our Science of Mind Daily Guide for this past Tuesday, September 20th, the contributor for this month, Jeff Seeley, invites us to connect with our inner compass. Connect with our inner compass. And he shares his experience of being on a small fishing boat in the Caribbean Ocean that was operated by a village elder who only used the stars and the moon to navigate while at sea. They had been on an excursion to get supplies to take back to a smaller village where he was doing some spiritual work with that community. After 12 hours at sea and arriving safely back at their destination, Seeley asked this question: what is the compass I use in my daily life? Do I default to a particular path and activities unaware of the compass that is guiding my steps and directing me forward? And he offers this response: I realize the compass we hold near and dear is our thoughts. The compass that we hold near and dear is our thoughts. They dictate what will occur in our lives and set into motion events that are in direct correlation to our mental state. And so the invitation for us is to remember that each day, each moment actually, we have the opportunity to use our compass to guide our lives. Remembering joy, abundance, and love is our natural state. And so I ask this question: does your compass push you by pain or pull you by vision? Today's topic, failing forward or falling forward, invites us to explore the unique perspective in all of the experiences that life has brought to us. Seeing these experiences as lessons, we determine what is good, what is bad, what does, and what does not work. This month, our focus has mainly been on work as career, or right livelihood, or something that is done to support our financial well-being. However, the practical experiences of work applies to all of life's experiences. And this is what I call our continual learning opportunities. As practitioners and ministers, part of our license renewal is a requirement for a certain number of CLU's, continual learning units, as well as CEU's, continuing education units. So our work requires that we continue to perfect our craft. And so in the CLU category, I look at those as what were the learning opportunities, what were the life experiences that are transferable and relatable to my work as a licensed practitioner and minister in the teachings of science of mind. We can see failure as a negative event or as an opportunity to go in a new direction. As these new perspectives, considerations, ideas, revelations, and insights become available, through so-called failure, we discover how amazingly they are if we're willing to trust and lean into wonder. Wonder invites us to create positive change with a reason to move, grow, and shift. Herein lies the potential for the ongoing search for purpose, passion, and making a larger contribution to society. I offer these two quotes from Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, as a segue into a further breaking down or illustrations of failing forward and falling forward. In the book, The Power of Ideas, Ernest Holmes writes this: many people wonder why they fail and why they continue to fail. Failure is not to be thought of as something outside of ourselves. A sense of failure is only the psychological and emotional reaction we have to experiences which are negative. And this is on page 56, paragraph 2. And on the same page in paragraph 3, he writes this: failure does not mean the loss of something. Failure occurs only if the loss of that thing takes our enthusiasm, our courage, our zest for life, our faith, our conviction, and our happiness from us. That is failure indeed. Work is a mental, physical, and spiritual activity. It is an experience of growth. If we're not growing the process of doing our work, then we need to do something different. And I read this little quote from Khalil Gibran, and he says, if you cannot work with love, but only with distaste, then you should quit your job and go sit at the temple and beg for alms from those who work with joy. And, you know, we kind of laugh at that, but I've been in situations prior to becoming a practitioner and a minister. I've been in situations where work was a drudgery. I didn't have the Monday morning experience of dredging going to work, but there just wasn't the motivation at times. And so I actually did give up that traditional corporate 9 to 5 and found something that really brings me joy. And that is being a practitioner and being a minister. Because it really is, for me, it is a way of life. I offer these ideas for reflection this morning on this topic. And the first one is failing forward or falling forward offers us the opportunity for redirection. We become better and we become blessed. We all experience success and failure in life. Life teaches us not to allow success to go to our head, and we are wise not to allow failure to consume the heart. We don't allow success to go to our head, and at the same time, we don't allow failure to consume our heart. We don't become discouraged. Things don't always go as they're planned. And through our consistent spiritual practices, we reassure us that everything is perfectly fine. To practice falling forward or failing forward means not to give up when things do not work out. The truth about failure is that it does not mean one's idea is flawed, not valid, or that the dream isn't good enough. Failure simply means there is something to be learned, something to be gained, identifying for us a new course of action that is necessary. Failure is not fatal. Failure is not fatal. No matter how hard it may feel, we have the awareness to be willing to understand that failure simply means there is another opportunity just over the horizon. So take the opportunity to wonder about what could be, declare it, and allow it to be so. The second opportunity that grows out of failing forward or falling forward is a new thing or a new opportunity. Failure is an opportunity that shows up just at the right moment. Failure is an opportunity that shows up just at the right moment. I invite you to take a breath on that. Feel a little energy shift in the room. Failure offers us a challenge to reevaluate, to come back stronger, equipped with better reasoning and much more. Often the next time around is easier to attain the goal, the outcome, and the intent. You may ask, how does one bounce back from a significant failure? Ernest Holmes offers this answer in Creative Mind. We have within us a power that is greater than anything we shall ever contact in the outer, a power that can overcome every obstacle in our life. And we engage this power when we access our spiritual tool chest, and we select the tool or the tools that support us and allow us to course correct. This is where we discover a new thing or a new opportunity. We get to know the parts and pieces of failure by allowing each part to teach us and to make us come back and deliver our next shot quicker, easier, and sure. In short, failure points to the possibility that there is always something more, better, and blessed ahead. And again, from Ernest Holmes in 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wisdom, he writes, "Know that nothing can hinder you but yourself. If you believe you can, you can. Nothing hinders us but ourselves. If we believe we can, we can." I'm thinking of the little nursery rhyme I'm not remembering the full context, but it's the little train that's trying to make it up the hill. And it says, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And at some point it says, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can. And this can be our approach to failure. It's like, what was the lesson that I learned from this? What are the opportunities for me to make a change, to course correct, go in a new direction? And this leads into our third point, which is to bounce back. And when we bounce back, that is a part of the resilience. Sometimes the lesson of failure is not to make success certain, but to show us that by failing and by falling forward, there are ways to do this with grace, sincerity, and possibility. We tend to focus on a single instance of failure and not recognize it can teach us more than a lifetime of success. And recently especially on Instagram, there's been a photo that is circulating of Einstein, and he writes out a formula, and it's the 9 times table. And he writes out all of the various results of 9 times whatever the number is. In the very last one, he makes a mistake. And the students in the class came down on him. You may have seen this, but the students in the class really came down on him for making that mistake. You know, Einstein, the genius, we finally caught him in a mistake, so let's focus on this, let's focus on this. And his response, after they calmed down, his response was, you chose to focus on the one mistake, ignoring the 10 that were correct. And how often do we do that in our own lives? How often do we allow one setback or one delay to cancel out every other success that we have had? This is where we have the opportunity to be in the wonder and allow the revelations through our meditation practice and through our other spiritual practices to allow us to detach from the outcome and to explore with greater curiosity and trust as the process unfolds. And this from our Science of Mind textbook. Ernest Holmes writes, we are bound by nothing except belief. We are bound by nothing except belief. So if I believe that I can, then I'm going to demonstrate that I can. And that is the challenge that I offer to you this morning. Believe that you can do something, regardless of how small it is or how large it is. Because in God, there is no time and space and there is no size. It is committing to doing something different, to explore a new opportunity with this yes, I can attitude. Name it, claim it, declare it, and allow it to manifest. Our unique perspective finds its origin in all of the lessons life has taught us. And from these lessons, we determine what is good, bad, and what works and what doesn't. Thus, we can look at failure as a negative event or as an opportunity to go in a new direction. New perspectives, considerations, ideas, revelations, and insights become available through so-called failure if we are willing to trust and lean into the wonder of the experience. There is potentially more to gain from failure than there is to lose. The real work is determining what's next. This is where wonder allows us to move beyond the stigma of failure into the wonder of what if? What if? No matter what, keep going and don't give up. And I close with the story that I saw on the computer. It's an old story, and yet I think it's relevant for today. And the title of the story is Don't Give Up. Some of you may be familiar with this story. While competing in the Olympic marathon in Mexico City in 1968, John Stephen Akwari representing Tunisia, cramped up due to the city's high altitude. During the race, he fell and extremely wounded his knee and dislocated his shoulder. He continued running, finishing last among the 17 competitors who completed the race. And this is a key piece here. 79 individuals started the race, but only 17 completed the race. Keep that number in mind, or keep that idea in mind. There were only a few thousand spectators who remained in the stadium after sunset when Akwari finished at 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 27 seconds. When he crossed the finish line, a roaring cheer came from the small crowd, who somehow knew they were a witness to history. Later, when he was interviewed and asked why he continued running the race, he said, "My country didn't send me 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 5,000 miles to finish the race." And this is our challenge, this is our call, this is our opportunity to finish the race that we have begun. No matter how many detours, how many switchbacks, how many setbacks, our call is to finish. Albert Einstein says this: failure is success in process. And this leads us now to our practical application opportunity for the week. And our tech team has posted this on our screen. And I invite those of you who are part of our Zoom audience to click on the save feature in chat so that you have this for the week to reflect on. And it will also be posted in the comments section on our Facebook Live page. Keep your goal visible at all times. We live in a world of many cross currents of consciousness. We are not always able to sustain positive attitudes. Sometimes negativity floods the mind. And for one reason or another, things go wrong. This calls for the ability and perspective to deal with both success and failure in spiritual poise. And this is from the book Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. Spiritual poise and our spiritual practices are what supports us to believe in ourselves, to have clear goals, to bounce back from disappointments, and to be willing to persist. And our weekly affirmation is, I persevere in the strength of the Spirit within me. Let us say this together. I persevere with strength of the Spirit within me. And now let us turn within and pray together. Recognizing the all-prevailing presence of Spirit right here, right now, the one life, the one power, this glue, if you will, that is holding everything in perfect harmony and perfect balance. And as I recognize my oneness with this energy, with this power, I recognize each one as an individualized expression of this creative idea. Each one is moving, living, and living their life experience. The successes, the failures, the dreams, the ideas, living as the life of God expressing through all. And so I speak my word of gratitude this morning for the perseverance, for the knowing, for the understanding, and for the willingness to take that next step, knowing that each step leads closer and closer to the destination. And the destination is always expanding. And so it is within our heart space that we open to the wonder and allow the destination to unfold for us. I bless places where people are gathering in the name and nature of the one Spirit, recognizing that there are many paths that lead to the truth, and that no one individual or no one entity or no one organization has the total and absolute truth, because the truth is continually revealing itself. And so as I open myself to the revelation of spirit. I invite each one who's a part of this experience today to open themselves to the magnificent idea of, yes, I can. Yes, I can, because God within me is inspiring and encouraging and supporting me to be my ultimate best. I speak a word of blessing this morning for those who are experiencing the multiple transitions of life. Those transitions from one employment or job opportunity to another, those transitions from one housing opportunity to another housing opportunity, those transitions that may involve the crossing over or the passing over of a loved one who has completed this chapter of the life experience, the continual journey of life, and has moved on to into the next chapter. Knowing that everything is always unfolding for the highest and best of each one of us, I declare it as good and very good. As I release this talk, as I release this service, as I release this prayer into the alchemy and the activity of love and law, I know that it is done. I know it is done well. And so I release this word now back into that law which says yes, allowing it to be so. And I invite you to affirm this with me by saying, and so it is. And I want to put in a plug at this moment for meeting with a practitioner or a minister. It is our joy to be in service and to support you with whatever it is the experience of the life journey. Often people think that the only time they can go and see a practitioner or a minister is when they're experiencing a challenge in life. And I invite you to consider bringing your joys and your victories and your celebrations of the all good into a practitioner session. Allow us to be with you to expand and to embrace the ideas that growth is eternal. Our contact information for the ministers and practitioners here at Monterey are on our website, www.montereycsl.org, and also in our weekly newsletter. Also, we are supported by our Centers for Spiritual Living World Ministry of Prayer. That contact information is on our website and in our newsletter. And also, we partner with Silent Unity in their prayer ministry. And so there are points where you can reach out. And as we frequently say, don't leave here with a problem. And now this is our opportunity to practice the presence of spirit through the opportunity known as offering, our sharing of our abundance with the spiritual community. We have an abundance statement that I would like for us to read together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so it is. And the opportunities to donate to the center are on our screen. You may mail in your donations to our address at 400 West Franklin Street, Monterey, California, 93940. You may text to give, and that number is on the screen. And you may also make a secure donation through our secure website, www.montereycsl.org. And for those who are gathered here in the sanctuary this morning, if you would like to make a contribution, we have our donation box on the hospitality table in the center. You're invited to do so. And again, thank you for the wonderful ways that you continue to support this community. It is through your donations that we continue to build and expand on the programs that we offer And I want to give a shout out at this moment to our fantastic Board of Trustees, who is working with me on identifying additional projects that we can reach out to so that we make our presence known and will fulfill our purpose, which is to transform lives. I just have a few opportunities that I would like to share with our virtual community while you are still here. Today, following service, is our spiritual living discussion circle, and you're invited to remain after service. Today, it is being facilitated by practitioner Woody Camacho Madera. Woody Madera Camacho. Thank you, Woody. Woody is stepping in for Denise, who is away this Sunday. Next week, next Saturday, October the 1st, the practitioners and ministers are offering to our community spiritual tune-ups. And we're doing this between 11:30 and 1:30. We will be offering the tune-ups here at the center as well as via Zoom. For those of you who are here this morning, there are sign-up sheets on the tables in the fellowship area. We invite you to sign up for a time slot, and we'll match you with a practitioner or minister during that time. This is our gift, and we felt that at the onset of the holiday season, that this would be a fantastic opportunity for each of us to take that moment to meet with a practitioner or a minister for a mini tune-up. This is our gift to you, and a love offering is appreciated but not required. And for those of you who would like to join us via Zoom, please go to our newsletter, and there is a sign-up opportunity for you to do so. And then on next Sunday, October the 2nd, we are launching our community I'm calling it our community outreach and inreach opportunity. What does our community look like post-pandemic? We're offering this opportunity to come together and talk about what new is emerging for ways that we can connect as community as we are coming out of the pandemic. And so you're invited to stay after service for about 15 or 20 minutes, or maybe a little longer, depending on how the discussion goes. But we're inviting your input and your ideas so that we can continue to design programs that will support this moving forward. And then also on next Sunday, following our community inreach and outreach conversation, practitioner Amber Guzman is inviting us to be a part of what we're calling right now creative expressions, or another grand idea for a name that may be emerging for our prayer shawl ministry. This idea was sparked as a means of reaching out to those members of our community who may need that little extra support as they're going through various life opportunities. And so if you know how to crochet, if you know how to knit, if you know how to turn a crank, and I understand that there are training opportunities, quilters, card makers, rock colors, gift designs, infinite opportunities to come together. And so we're inviting you to come together on next Sunday and to just share ideas about how this ministry can continue to unfold and expand. And then lastly, I invite you to our visioning practices. We vision for our center on Saturday mornings from 10:30 to around 11 o'clock. And then we also vision on Sunday mornings for our personal experiences, for our personal goals. The Sunday morning visioning takes place here in the center at 10 o'clock in our bookstore prior to service. And the information for that will be found in our newsletter. And so I want to thank our virtual community for joining us this morning. We appreciate you, we love you, we thank God for you, and we invite you to come back next week when we begin our October series. And the theme is Everyday Wonder Through Finances. And our topic will be swimming in the infinite ocean of possibilities. So we invite you to join us next week in our virtual community.